The brand new Spire of the Watcher dungeon just released, and it has some really strong and unique gear to grind for. So in this video, I'll go over how to complete the entire dungeon completely solo. I'll also go over the best ways to stay alive throughout the dungeon so you can go solo flawless and receive a higher exotic drop rate, an exotic sparrow, these really cool emblems, and of course, bragging rights. I'm Marshix and I make Destiny 2 guides for solo players. If you find this helpful, all I ask for is a like on the video. Before we start, it's important to have a few mods to keep you alive. Concussive Dampener for damage resistance against splash damage, which there's a lot of, then pair that with either Void Resist or Energy Diffusion Substrate. You may also consider using other DR mods like Protective Light, Well of Tenacity, or Warmind's Protection. I went with Warmind's Protection because my main weapon was the Ikelos SMG, which can spawn Warmind cells, but it's completely up to you. And if it wasn't obvious, Max Resilience for a passive 40% damage resist against everything. It's crazy how much this helps. We're also going to be fighting bosses, so damage increasing mods will be crucial too. If you do decide to use Elemental Wells, go with Font of Might. If you're using Warmind cells, go with Power of Rasputin. And if you're high enough rank in the artifact, you can go with Weakened Clear to apply a 15% debuff to enemies hit with grenade launchers and reload your stowed weapons at the same time. And of course, the best mod ever created for solo players, Solo Operative. This will increase your damage by 15% just because you're playing solo. I also highly recommend running solar subclasses on both Warlock and Titan for both Radiance and Healing Grenades. For Hunter, I would probably go with Void for Panic Invis, and so you can have Tether for boss DPS. And don't forget to grab Rally Banners from Hawthorne. You're really gonna need them. Okay, with all of that out of the way, load up the dungeon from the Throne World. Take the path until you reach this area with Vex. In this part, you're going to notice these long wires all over the place. These wires all converge in the middle. There's also going to be Minotaurs that drop a pull whenever you kill them. Standing in it gives you a 30-second buff called Arctrition. Your goal is to kill a Minotaur to get the buff, then follow the wires to the end, and shoot a box to route power to the 4 in the middle. You can only shoot the boxes if you have the Arctrition buff, and you'll know you're at the starting box if it has arrows around it. Shoot it, then follow the wire to the next box. Shoot this one, then the wire will turn blue to indicate that it's connected. Follow the wire again, and keep doing the same thing until you reach the group of 4. Then repeat for the other 3. These will not reset, so you can take as much time as you need. It's a really simple mechanic, but you will need to deal with a lot of enemies at the same time. Whenever you see them, take out the 4 Cyclopses on top of the walls. Arbalist makes easy work of them. They do respawn after you complete a full connection, so keep an eye out for them every time. For the other enemies, I used the new Ikelos SMG with Volt Shot to clear all of them out with ease. So just keep shooting the boxes to reroute the power to all 4 nodes, then the floor will open up to a giant slide. This may kill you, so try to slow yourself down by jumping or by using a sword, Icarus Dash, or a dive. Keep following the path until you reach the Reactor Firewall. This is the first jumping area. And there's a secret chest in here too. Jump above the giant door to get to the outside. A bunch of harpies will spawn on both sides of the catwalk alongside a Hydra. You can run past them, but they can become a problem later on, so I just took them all out with Arbalist. Keep moving forward, taking the path on screen to get to the hidden chest. Around this corner, there's a small platform that'll take you to the chest. There's also a collectible right here that you can collect along the way. Jump around this wall and the chest will be on another platform along the wall. This will only drop gear that you've already unlocked, so don't grab it if it's your first clear. Go back the way you came, and from here, it's pretty straightforward. You'll eventually make your way back outside, and there's a spot for a rally banner. This is the first real encounter. It's essentially the same thing as before. Kill a Minotaur to become an electrician. Then use your handy firearm to reroute the power to the correct spot. You're doing this to activate elevators so you can climb the tower. When you jump up, go to the opposite side to find the Minotaur. Kill it, grab its buff, and then the 2 starting boxes are on the wall next to it. One goes along the left side and the other goes around the right side. After you shoot 1 or 2 of them, a Hydra will spawn on that side with you, so keep an eye out for it. Once you complete both wires, an elevator will activate, taking you to the 2nd floor. On this floor, both of the wires will start on the right side with this electric part and lead you to the left side. Same thing, just get the buff and shoot the boxes. The elevator will be between the 2 final nodes. Then, for the 3rd and final floor, a Minotaur will spawn right in front of you as you get up, and the first box will be there as well. Follow it around, and the second one will be on the opposite side. As you shoot the final node, everything will despawn and you can grab your loot. For the next encounter, make your way up to the next room, then jump up to the catwalk on the right side. Interact with the lever to open the window. Continue climbing up until you reach the first boss. If you've ever played Garden of Salvation, you'll recognize this guy. For loadouts here, I recommend Witherhoard with Weaken Clear if you do have it, then an SMG to take out enemies, and a good linear for DPS. I used Cataclysmic with Bait and Switch, but you can get similar results with Taipan or Reed's Regret. I'm sure you can beat this with other weapons, but linears are very ammo efficient and deal a ton of damage. If you look around, you'll notice 4 different paths leading to electrical boxes. What you need to do here is reroute the power like you've been doing, but you'll need to do it on each side to start the damage phase. Be sure to take some time to learn the locations of all the nodes before you start the encounter, because a couple of them are hard to see. Start by killing the Minotaur to get its buff. Shoot the starting nodes in the middle, then follow the wire all the way down that side. Don't try to rush this. If enemies spawn in your way, take your time to clear them, especially if they're harpies. Those can hit you from so far away. If you need to refresh your buff, Minotaurs continue to spawn on all the sides, so you can just get another one. There's also kind of a glitch here that makes Seraph weapons absolutely insane. If you have the Minotaur buff, then shoot a Warmind cell, any of the nodes it hits will activate them. Same thing with the Stasis Super on Warlock. This speeds up the whole encounter, and it helps with ad clear at the same time. Be sure to put on Global Reach to get the maximum blast radius if you do decide to do this trick. After all 4 sides are clear, the boss will make his way to you. He will start charging up an attack and expose all of his eyes. You need to shoot these as fast as you can to start damage. It doesn't take much to break them, so just use your primary weapon. After that, his big eye in the middle will open and he'll be damageable. Pop Well, Tether, or make yourself radiant with your melee, then hit him with Witherhoard and dump as many linear fusion shots as you can. As he ends the damage phase, he'll send out an explosion that will knock you off the building or into a wall. To avoid this, you need to either jump down one of the holes in the ground or Icarus dash into it. It's better to play it safe, so you probably want to get to safety a few seconds early just to be sure, even if it does cost you some damage. From here, it's just rinse and repeat. Kill Minotaurs, power up all 4 sides, shoot eyes, and DPS. This should take around 4 phases to finish him off, but probably 2 or 3 in the future when we're all higher power levels. Once he's dead, go back to the center to collect your loot. Drop down below the chest and keep going until you reach a room with more Vex. You'll have to clear 2 or 3 waves of them, then a Minotaur will spawn. However, this is different from the previous encounters. This time we have 5 red wires that all lead to the same place. For this, you simply have to get the Minotaur buff, then stand right here where you can see all of them, and shoot them in rapid succession. If you're too slow, it'll reset them for you to try again. Or you can just shoot 1 Warmind cell. Either way works. This will open the floor to a fan section. You'll have to time your jumps through the fan blades to make your way down. Good luck, this killed me multiple times. This will lead you to another open room where you need to do the same thing as before. If you want to play it really safe, you can stay up here and take everything out with a scout rifle. Drop down and shoot the 5 red wires to open the floor again. Go down another fan, then do 1 more floor just like the others. This time you need to carefully traverse through the lightning and kill the Hydra that spawns inside. There will be 4 wires on the outer wall and 1 wire in the middle. They aren't too hard to find. With that done, you can now get the second hidden chest. If you're looking at the inner node, go to the left and under the staircase. Shoot the grate underneath it and crawl to the end of the tunnel to get the chest. Once again, this will only give you gear that you've already unlocked. Go back the way you entered, then run to any corner of the room and jump down to the next boss. This is actually a really fun yet challenging encounter, but if you are finding this helpful, be sure to leave a like on the video. 5,000 likes and I'll tweet this at Bungie. This boss is a giant wyvern. You're probably going to want the same loadout as the Harpy boss. Witherhoard, a good primary, and a linear fusion. This encounter combines both aspects of electricity. The red wires where you need to shoot 5 of them quickly, and the yellow wires that do not have to be done quickly, but they need to be shot in a correct order. The reds are on the 4 pillars in the middle, and there's 1 on the top of the main door. There are also 2 sets of yellows on each side, and they extend into the second room. When the encounter starts, the boss will start chasing you immediately. Don't stop moving. Ever. 2 Hydras will also spawn, 1 on each side, and some supplicants. These will explode if you get near them, so once again, don't stop moving. Kill the Hydras, then the Minotaurs will begin to spawn. These will drop the Arctrician buff, and you need to first activate the 5 red ones in the middle. This will open the big door to the other side, allowing you to lure the boss over there to buy you some time for the yellow wires. Speaking of, only 2 of the 4 yellow sets will be open to shoot. They appear to be random, sometimes it's 1 on each side, and sometimes it's both on one side. You know what to do by now, shoot the yellows all the way to the end. Some of them are in weird spots below the floor, so maybe take a few practice runs to memorize all the locations. Once you fully activate both of the yellow wires, the boss will go inside and squat down. Once this happens, you need to run to the initial room, make sure you have the Partition buff, then shoot the 5 wires again to close the door with the boss inside. An explosion will happen and the boss will become vulnerable. Possible epilepsy warning, by the way. If you're a warlock, drop Well of Radiance right in front of him. Apply Wither Horde and dump your linear. Make sure you aim for the crit spot in his chest. If you don't have a Well of Radiance, you can use cover on the sides to try and avoid his attacks the best you can. After a few seconds of damage, the boss will go immune and you just need to rinse and repeat. Open the door with the reds, activate both yellows, then close the door back. I know it's easier said than done, especially with all the ads constantly shooting at you, but after some practice, it's not too bad. Especially if you constantly run back and forth between the 2 rooms to keep the boss off your back. I highly recommend the Volt Shot Ikelos SMG with Warmind cells for ad clear. Yes, they did get nerfed, but you gotta be crazy to think they still aren't good. After about 4 or 5 phases of that, you'll finish off the boss and get a ton of triumphs, 2 legendary drops, and a chance at the Hierarchy of Needs exotic bow. Now, if you're looking to get the God Roll Ikelos SMG that I used during this whole dungeon, check out this video. Thanks for watching, I'm Marshix, and I'll see you next time.